Dear students, today's topic is radioisotopes and their uses. In that course, thermodynamics, electromagnetism, and modern physics. First of all, we are going to see about the radioactive decay, how that radioactive element is decayed into different particles. So, this will be first discovered by Marie Curie and her husband Pierre Curie in that year 1898. He discovered that radioactive decay in that elements like polonium and radium. So here in this elements, these are that high atomic number elements. So they are called as the heavy elements. So in these elements, they discovered that radioactive decay. So here the simplest form is that gamma ray. So when the nucleus changing from the excited to the lower energy state, they emit some gamma rays. So another modes of decay includes that emission of alpha particle, beta particles, protons, neutrons, and fission elements. So here the disintegrations are decays taken per unit time is called as that radioactivity. So here the dN by dt, that is the disintegration per unit time, is negative because by increasing the time, that number of elements in that radioactive element, number of particles is decreasing. So that here we are putting the minus symbol here. Here, the radioactivity can be written as minus dN by dt is equal to R. So here, this R is called as that radioactive decay. Here, N of T is that number of radioactive nuclei in that sample. So here, by using this, we can calculate that number of elements per unit time. This can be calculated by using the formula dN of T is equal to R into dt. So this is equal to, instead of R dt, we can write lambda N of T dt. So here, this N will come here. So dN by N equal to minus lambda dt. So here, if you integrate this, we are getting ln N is equal to minus lambda t plus constant. So from this, we can get that number of radioactive nucleus in that sample, that is equal to N of T equal to, just you have to take exponential on both sides. So N of T is equal to e power minus lambda T plus constant. So here we can take N is equal to N naught when time is equal to 0. At that time only the radioactive decay starts. So here that N of T is equal to written as N naught e power minus lambda T. So this radioactive decay is denoted by R is equal to lambda N of T. N of T is equal to N naught e power minus lambda T. So this is equal to R naught e power minus lambda T. So here the activity, the radioactivity R is, so it is written by using that formula. So here the radioactivity, initial radioactivity is equal to R naught when time is equal to 0. By using this, we can calculate that half-life period. Half-life period means, so here this can be denoted by T half. So the time taken for that radioactive element to disintegrate half of its number of particles is called as the half-life time. So here N of T power half, the number of particles after that half-life period is equal to N naught by 2. So instead of n, we can substitute n naught by 2. This is equal to n naught e power minus lambda power half. So here this n naught and this n naught will cancel out. We are getting ln 1 by 2. This is equal to ln. So you have to take ln on both sides. We are getting 1 by 2 only. So then you have to uh, take a ln on both sides. Ln 1 by 2 is equal to ln e power minus lambda t power half. This is equal to ln of e power x is equal to x only. So by using this, we are getting like this way. So here there will be a minus symbol is there. So by using that formula, that minus ln 1 by 2 is equal to ln 1 by 2 whole power minus 1. So 1 by 2 whole power minus 1 is equal to ln 2. So ln 2 is equal to 0.693 divided by lambda. From this, the mean lifetime can be calculated. Tau is equal to 1 by lambda. This is equal to t power half ln 2. So this will be that mean lifetime. Tau is equal to 1 by lambda. Lambda is that disintegration constant. So from here we can write t power half 0.693. You can write like that also. So the next thing is that, so here the number of radioactive decay, so per as a function of time. So by increasing the time, the number of elements, initially it is having more number of elements. So initially at time 0, that number of elements in that radioactive nuclei is n naught. So by increasing the time, it is decreasing slowly, and at last it decays to 0. So to denote this, graph is drawn here. The next one is that unit of radioactivity. So the basic unit is becquerel is the SI unit of radioactivity. It is defined as 1 disintegration per second. So and also we can write so 1 TPS. So it is also given by another unit, Curie. So it is come from that name of the inventor, Marie Curie. So one Curie is defined as that quantity of radioactive material in which number of nuclear disintegration per second is same as that 1 gram of radium. So 1 Curie can be written as 3.7 into 10 to the power 10 becquerel. So here another thing is that is the specific activity. The specific activity is defined as the disintegration rate per unit mass of radioactive atoms. So how much disintegration takes place per unit mass of that radioactive atoms? So that will be explained by specific activity. So then next is that, then we move on to the radioisotopes. So radioisotopes of an element is defined as that atoms that contain unstable nuclei. That unstable nuclei only disintegrate and it will emit some particles that are harmful particles only. Alpha, beta, gamma radiations are spontaneously emit from that nuclei. And also it dissipate excess energy. So so it is that energy is also very large in case of that radioisotopes. So here that spontaneous emitter radiations are alpha, beta, gamma rays only. So this is an example of radioactive isotope. So here we are taking uranium. So uranium isotopes are uranium 235 92. So that is that uranium atomic number and the mass number. So the isotope of uranium is uranium 238 92. Here, the 235 is that mass number of neutron of uranium and 92 is that atomic number. So from this, we can calculate that number of neutrons. So the number of neutrons is varying on both uranium 235 92 and uranium 238 92. Both that number of neutrons are varying. So why? Because of that reason only, it is called as the isotopes of a particular element. Isotopes means it contains same number of protons or neutrons, same number of atomic number, but different mass number. The different mass number is due to the different neutron number. So neutrons only varying, the atomic number is the same for the isotopes. So next one is that how the radioisotopes occurs. The combination can occur naturally. So we can take radium 226. So by we can manually or artificially altering the atoms, we can get that radioisotopes also. So these type of radioisotopes are used in nuclear reactors and also it is also used in cyclotron. So the best well-known example is uranium. Already we saw in that previous slide. But uranium 238, only 0.7 percentage is naturally occurring in nature. So, but the rest is the less stable one. Rest of this is the less stable one. It is unstable one. It is more radioactive. And uranium 235 is naturally occur a large amount compared to the uranium 238. So alternatively, we can get that radioisotope by using nuclear reactors or cyclotron. Already we saw that. Here, most of the isotopes which are occurred in nature, they are stable only. So, but the few naturally occurring isotopes and man-made isotopes are unstable. Not all that elements are unstable. Only few elements are unstable. That only emit radioactive particles like proton, electron, gamma rays like that. So here that man-made isotopes, artificially produced radioactive isotopes by using nuclear reactor and cyclotron that are we can make them into a unstable manner. So here that unstable isotopes can become stable by releasing different types of particles. Here, after releasing alpha, beta, gamma particles, that unstable isotopes become stable. Then next is that how that radioisotopes are used. So it is an essential part of radiopharmaceuticals. In fact, it is routinely used as a medicine for more than 30 years. And an average in 1 in every 2 Australians can expect at some stages in his life to undergo the nuclear medicine procedures. So that nuclear medicines are used in uh, diagnostic and therapeutic purposes also. Then some radioisotopes used in that nuclear medicine have very short half-life period. So after a long time, it will decay quickly. So others with a longer half-life stay for more time to decay. So it will stay in nature for a long time. So that type of isotopes only used for that therapeutic purposes. In industry also we are using that radioisotopes. So it is used to improve the protectivity and gain informations about that radioisotopes, and these information cannot be obtained by any other way. Only by using the radioisotopes only we can get that informations. And also these radioisotopes are used in that industrial radiography here, which are using some gamma source to conduct that stress testing and to check the integrity of fields. So aeroplane jet engine turbines is an example for that radioisotopes for structural integrity. And these radioisotopes are used in industries to measure the level of the large containers, liquids in the large containers. So, and also it is used to measure that thickness of the material. If it is a large material or very small material, we can find out that thickness by using the radioisotopes. And these radioisotopes are very much used in that scientific research, and it is tracing that, it is used to trace that flow of contamination of biological systems, and it is used to determine the metabolic processes in small Australian animals. And this is used in that international nuclear safeguards agencies to detect that clandestine nuclear activities from distinctive radioisotope produced in weapon programs. So next is that, so these are the properties of that radioisotopes. First property is that it emits some radiations that may be alpha, beta, gamma radiations. All that radioactive isotope must have a half-life period, and it is having that penetration property. The penetration property is differed for each particle, and it is having that same chemical properties but different physical properties. So these are the properties of radioactive isotopes. So here the penetration property is explained here. So from the radioactive nuclei, alpha particle is emitted means the alpha particle cannot penetrate through the paper itself. So the beta particle can penetrate through the paper, but it cannot go inside the aluminium foil with a moderate thickness. And if we can take that gamma particle, so it can pass through the paper, aluminium foil and a lead foil. So gamma source is having that higher penetration property. So it is having that same chemical properties but different physical properties. So here that chemical property, same chemical properties is attained due to the same number of electrons in the outermost cell. So isotopes of same elements have the same chemical properties. So next one is that different physical properties. So physical properties like volume, pressure, that and all changing from one isotopes to the another isotope. So here that physical properties, why it is changing means it is due to the number of neutrons. So in radioisotopes, that change in mass number is mainly due to the neutrons only. So that different number of neutrons give that different physical properties. And it emits radiations. The radioactive isotopes are unstable in nature. So after emitting some particles, it becomes stable. So there are three types of radiations are available. One is that alpha particle, beta particle, and gamma rays. So next one is that how the radioactive atom gets the energy and release the particle. Most probably, all the radioactive atoms are unstable in nature, so that it emits some particles like the alpha, beta, gamma, and some energy also released from that radioactive nuclei. So first of all, we are going to see about that alpha decay. So alpha decay means here when after the disintegration of unstable nuclei, one alpha particle is emitted from that. So that alpha particle is identical to the helium nuclei. Helium means helium He, that mass number 4, atomic number 2. So that it consisting of 2 protons and 2 neutrons. So this will be that alpha decay. Then beta decay. Beta decay is identical to that electron. So here electrons are emitted from the radioactive nuclei. So here the beta decay occurs only when the neutron changes into a proton and a electron. Then the beta particles compared to that alpha particle, beta particles are having that high energy, high speed electrons. So that are emitted from that radioactive nuclei such as polonium 40. So here the form of ionization radiation is also known as the beta rays. The high energy electrons have greater range of penetration than alpha particles, but it's still much less gamma rays. So these are that some points about uh, beta particles. The next one is that gamma decay. So gamma decay means, so here the gamma rays are not charged particles like alpha and beta. So they are the chargeless particles. They are released with this particle. So when uranium-235 is disintegrated, some particles are emitted, some elements are emitted. So with that gamma rays are emitted. So this will be that gamma rays are electromagnetic radiations with higher frequency. So when atoms decay by emitting alpha and beta particles, so to form a new atom, the nuclei of the new atom is not stable, not still stable. So it is an unstable one only. So that to make into a stable one, so it release some much energy. So that excess energy emitted is called as that gamma rays. These gamma rays are having low ionization power, and compared to the alpha and beta rays, it is having that very high penetration power. So here, this table displays that variation between alpha, beta, and gamma rays. So for an alpha particle, it is having uh, two protons and two neutrons. So it is having two protons and two neutrons. And it is identical to a nuclei of helium-4. For beta particle, each particle is an electron. So for that gamma rays, the electromagnetic waves are similar to the X-rays. The relative charge of alpha particle is +2, and for beta particle -1, gamma particle is 0. Ionization effect is strong for alpha particle and weak for beta and gamma particles. So compared to that penetration effect, only that gamma rays is having that higher penetrating effect compared to that alpha and beta rays. So here it is deflected by magnetic and electric field, but uh, gamma rays is not deflected by electric and magnetic field. So, but other particles, alpha and beta particles, can deflected by electric and magnetic particle, magnetic field. So, depending upon that emission of radiations, so what type of particles are emitted from that radioactive nuclei? From that, we can produce nuclear equations. So how that nuclear equations can be framed? So it is used to show that decay process. So by writing this nuclear equations, the left side and the right side number should be balanced. Then only it is called as that nuclear equations. So that nuclear equation have written for alpha decay. So already you know that for alpha decay, that this is that atom of helium nuclei. So that atomic number of helium is 2, mass number is 4. So one alpha particle can be emitted means in that unstable nuclei, 4 electrons are subtracted from the mass number, and 2 is subtracted from the atomic number. So that the resultant equation is like that. So A minus 4, Z minus 2. So here this is the alpha particle or helium nuclei, 4 mass number, 2 is the atomic number. So next one is that beta decay. So in that beta decay occurs in a neutron within the nucleus of nuclei. that will emit some particles and changes into a proton. So here the proton number increases by 1, but the nucleon number stays the same. So here 1, this is the symbol of electron. So if beta particle decay is there, means 1 electron have to be ejected from or emitted from the nuclei. So that a symbol of electron is -1 is that atomic number, 0 is the mass number. So here, so if one beta particle is emitted, the atomic number is increased by 1. The mass number will be the same only. So this is that example for beta particle decay. So here carbon 14(6) is disintegrated into carbon, so nitrogen 7 plus 1 electron is subtracted. 7 minus 1 is equal to 6. Likewise, we can equate that equations. So here gamma emissions, after that alpha and gamma emission only, so alpha and beta particle emission, gamma emission will taken place. So how it is taken place means now the nucleus is still in that excited state. So that excited state is also called as that metastable state. So, in order to get that lower energy, it emits a quantum of energy in that form of that gamma ray. Next is that that half-life period is already explained to you. So, the half-life period of that some isotopic elements are displayed here. For radioactive isotope uranium-238, so the half-life period is 4.5 into 10 to the power 9 years. For carbon, the half-life period is the 5.7 into 10 to the power 3 years. For radium, 1.6 into 10 to the power 3. For transium, iodine, bismuth, polonium, it is having the low, transium is having 28 years. Only iodine, bismuth, polonium is having the lower half-life time. So for polonium, it is very, very small. It is in the order of 1.5 into 10 to the power -4 seconds. So this is the difference between the stable nuclei isotope and radioactive isotopes. From the heading itself, we can identify that the stable isotopes will not decay and will not emit alpha, beta, gamma rays. But in case of unstable radioactive nuclei means, so it will emit radiations like alpha, beta, gamma. So here for a stable isotope other than high atomic mass elements is having that isotopic, radioisotopic behavior. So it is abundantly found in nature. So we can make use of that stable isotopes. It will be used in many patients to treat their disease like cancer treatment like this way. And also the direction of chemical and spectroscopic methods. So here that alpha, beta, gamma decay are measured by using the direction by chemical and spectroscopic methods. So stable nucleus are not harmful to our health. So there is no toxic chemicals are there in that radioisotopes. For radioactive isotopes, so we have to attain or we have to give proper precautions. Then only we can handle it very easily. So no special applications for that stable isotopes, but there are some specific applications are available for that radioactive isotopes workshop. So these are that some uses of radioactive isotopes in different area. So it is used to detect the and measure the radioactivity by using autoradiography, gas ionization detectors, fluorescent screen. So these are that basic to detect that and measure the radioactivity in clinical laboratory. So these isotopes, radioisotopes, are used in scientific research, analytical research, diagnostic research, and therapeutic research. So first of all, we are going to see about medicine. So by using the radiations, it will give the proper information about the function of specific organ. So, and it is used to not only for diagnosis, but for to treat the disease also, that radioactive isotopes are very useful. So if a radioactive isotope is taken by the patient, the radiations are emitted from our body and enable the organs to be easily imaged by imaging equipments. And if there is any disorder in that data, then that can be detected and it can be treated. So it is also used as a tracer in medical field. So it is used to monitor the function of thyroid gland. So in this we are using iodine 131. So here half of quarter of that total amount of iodine in the body can be stored in that thyroid gland. Amount of iodine entering into the gland can be measured by detecting the radioactive elements. So, alpha and beta particle emitter with a short half-life period that only can be used as the that can be used to make them effectively work in the field of braces. So the next one is that industrial applications. So the alpha particles from that polonium 21210, and it is used to neutralize that static charge in photographic plates and other materials. So here the water can be made radioactive by dissolving some radioactive salt which contains sodium 24. So that the beta particles emitted are detected by a GM tube. Then gamma rays can be used to penetrate compared to that other two alpha and gamma rays. So here the gamma rays are used to penetrate deep into the weldings to detect the drills are available inside that. So next this will be that uses of radioisotopes in different area in medical field, and for each application one isotope can be used. So first of all, we will take carbon 47. It is used to biomedical researchers to study their uh, cellular formations and the bone formations in our body. Then cesium 137. It is used to treat the cancer treatment, and it is used to measure the correct dosages of radioactive pharmaceuticals. So while we are working in that radioactive stations, you must correct that dosages of the radiations pharmaceuticals. And chromium 51 is used in that research and blood cell survival offers. It's continued, the radioactive and its uses are continued here. That gallium 67, it is used in that medical diagnosis. And iodine 123, it is widely used in that to diagnosis of thyroid disorders and metabolic disorder like including that brain. Then iodine 135, that will be a major diagnostic tool used in that clinical test to diagnose the thyroid destroyers, and also it is used in biomedical research. These are the applications of radiation in biological sciences. So that radiations are frequently used for tracking metabolic pathways. So mixing radioactive labeled structures and substrate and samples of the experimental material and collecting sample and the various routes. So and we can create that separate the product by using the chromatography technique. And it is possible to protect that individual carbon atoms in that DCA mode. Then methods have been developed in isolate informations of that cycle. It is used to return in as ascertain that distribution of carbon atoms within each intermediate state. So here, the radioactive isotopes are used in ascertaining that turnover times for particular component. Then group of rats are injected with radio amino acid, and it kept for 24 hours to allowing to assimilate into the protein. The rats are killed at a suitable time interval, and radioactivity in organ and tissue of interest is determined. So next one is that analytical applications of isotopes. Virtually any enzyme reactions can be assessed using radioactive tracer methods. Then the radioactive have been used in the study of mechanism of enzyme action, and it is used in that study of ligand building and membrane respects. So by using the isolation dilution analysis, plasma volume tool tool today what EFC volume, RBC cell volume. These can be done by using that isotope dilatation method. And total exchangeable of sodium can be measured. Then iodine 131 is used in that human serum albumin. This is useful for the diagnosis of a protein. So that last that entropy. Next one is that chromium 51. So it is labeled with red blood cell counts, and they are giving intravenous seriously if there is any GA books of relativity can be measured. So for the diagnostic purpose, that radioactive iodine, it is reveals the fundamental function of thyroid issue, including noodles, the workshop, the whole thyroid gland, and metastatic foci. And iodine 131 is used for thyroid cancer and imaging and the management after the operation is over. And it is used for thyroid cancer to image and management. And it is used for thyroid scan also. Here, this is that therapeutic uses of radioisotopes. However, the radioisotope have role in management of malignancies. Then tumor causes are attacked by beam of radiations. There are two routes are available. First one is that from outside to patient's body, that will be given from the external source. Next one is the from within the body. So it is given by the internal source. So these are that external source used in that therapeutic treatment. Here we are using beads, needle application, form of that material. So radioactive material is impregnated into body in which beads, vehicles are used as that surface applicants. Here, phosphorus 32 applied to paper or polythene sheets for superficial. That cerium apparatus applicators used for comments and conjugated scleria treatment. So here, that heavy particle proton irradiations used in diabetic radiotherapy, and it improves that vision. Next is that extraoral irradiation blood. So leukemia is that due to the lacking of. So here we are using that extraoral radiation of blood. So here leukemia, this is the white blood cell count is low for that. So next by using 4-ear artery and circulated around cesium-137 source which emit powerful radiations. Then Advantages of this is that avoid the bone marrow depression by radio algating agents. So here, therapeutic treatments also going on. This will be the this will be the therapeutic treatment. So here they are using neutron irradiations. Here it will produce a dense ionization in tissues also. By the use of the external sources, it is having the ionization of alpha particles that will be destroyed and low penetrability uses adjacent normal cells unharmed one. These are the advantages of that external sources. So, in these uh, slides, we saw about how that radioactive decay takes place. After the radioactive decay, how that alpha beta particles are emitted. So if the alpha particle is emitted, how that nuclear equations are modified. So and how the half-life period have to be calculated. And other uses of radioactive isotopes are discussed here. The radioactive isotopes are used in many purposes like scientific research, industry, and medical field. So yeah, these isotopes are very much useful. So that therapeutic treatment also, these radioisotopes are very useful. So thank you for listening. Thank you.